Ubisoft throughout Year 7 has begun introducing new maps into the game, which hasn't been the case in a very long time. Because of this, today I'll be ranking every single map from worst to best. I'll be starting off by going through the 7 casual maps in the game, and then I'll be moving on to the 15 ranked maps in the game. The casual maps will be from numbers 23 to 16, then the ranked maps will begin at 15 because obviously casual maps are just worse than the ranked maps, so I'm going to separate them. The first map of the video and the worst in all of Siege is Yacht. Yacht is just not fun in my opinion. There is constant ambient noise that makes it hard to hear anything on the map. Also, this map is huge, allowing defenders to easily rat in corners and flank you. And on top of it all, it has a lot of long, empty hallways that make it pretty much impossible to rotate. If this map shows up in casual, I'll still play it, but I definitely won't enjoy it. Coming in at the 22nd spot is Hereford Base. This map is a rework of the original by the same name. I'm one of the few people that would rather have the old Hereford Base in the casual queue than the reworked version. The rework feels like an attempt at a ranked map that just flopped horribly, where the original map actually felt like it belonged in casual. Coming in at the 21st spot is Tower. You were likely expecting me to put Tower at the bottom of this list, but for me personally, I actually enjoy Tower in casual. The meme potential of this map is unmatched. Some of my funniest moments I've had in Siege have been right on this map. I just think that this map opens the door for so many meme strats that are super fun, and that is why I like it more than others. Next up in the 20th spot is Fortress. This map is extremely boring to play. The entire map looks the same. There is no real color at all. Everything is just sandstone walls and tile floors. Also, the layout can be a bit confusing, almost maze-like, especially when it comes to the first floor, but I do think that if this map got a decent rework, it could be serviceable and ranked. However, with it being in its current state, I do think it belongs in the 20th spot. Now for the 19th spot on this list, which is Plane. I've never been a huge fan of this map in casual. It always plays out like a spawn peek simulator. The attackers sit outside with Glaz and Kali, while the defenders peek the outside doors with Doc and Rook. I know a lot of people enjoy this playstyle in casual, but it can get pretty taxing and repetitive for me after just a couple of times of playing it, and so that's why I'm putting it in the position that it is. Next map on my list, coming in at the 18th spot, is House. This is another casual map that received a rework, and just like Hereford Base, I think the original map is much more fun in casual. This rework removed the ability to do garage wars like you could before, which is one of the most fun custom minigames in Siege. They also made the map a lot bigger, which part of the fun of Old House was how small it was. You were always getting into gunfights with attackers that were outside, and that's what made it so fun. I really wish you could still play the original House because it was my favorite map in casual by far. Now for the final casual map and my personal favorite, which is Favilla. I think Favilla getting removed from the ranked pool was a little harsh. I personally think that a map like Outback would have been way more deserving of this treatment. Favilla is really fun on defense, and while it is one of the most defender-sided maps in the game, I still really enjoy it, and I enjoyed it in ranked. Obviously, I'm not saying that it should be re-added into ranked. It's already been removed, and they should just commit to that decision, but I do think other maps deserve that treatment more. Now to discuss the ranked maps, I just want to say before I begin that this ranking at the end of the day is my subjective opinion. I'm sure a lot of your ratings look completely different, but that's the fun of these videos. I want to share my opinion and see how you guys differ from mine. If you disagree, you can leave your takes in the comments. Okay, my worst map in ranked as of Operation Solar Raid is Outback. Outback is super annoying to attack, it is extremely small, and it can be difficult to enter the building. Pretty much every bomb site on this map is defender-sided as well, Party Room being one of the worst defenders. Also, if you didn't know, this is a reworked version of the original map Outback, and the funny thing is the rework has pretty much changed nothing. The only difference between the two is that now the best bomb sites have been shifted, but the rework never addressed the issues of it being defender-sided. I think if any map is deserving of being removed, it's Outback. It's just not fun, and it's extremely defender-sided. Next up, in my 15th spot, is Emerald Plains. A lot of people enjoy this map, but I've never been a big fan of it. The flow of this map, especially on the first floor, can feel quite disruptive. The fountain on the first floor is super annoying because it can easily get you killed. It forces you to either vault and be extremely vulnerable to players in kitchen, fireplace, and bar, or you have to go through fireplace, which leaves you vulnerable to Z-Hall, or the windows upstairs in library and meeting. This entire section of the map ruins the flow of the downstairs for me. If they just made the wall and fountain a doorway, or just removed the fountain and changed up Blue's layout, the map would flow a lot better. Also, the windows in meeting room and library allow a defender or an attacker to have a line of sight across the map. This makes meeting a complete no-go. You can't step foot in there at all without being at risk of getting shot. As a defender or an attacker, keeping control of library is probably the most important thing for this reason. By having control of this one room, it shuts off rotation rotations in most of the map. The other team won't be able to go into blue, up library stairs, through fountain, or into meeting without you being able to stop them. It cuts rotation in half the map with control of one room. There are plenty more issues I have with this map, but I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the next one. I don't think this map should be removed from the map pool though. The only map that I think deserves to be removed is Outback. I'd personally prefer Ubisoft to just fix the current maps instead of just removing them from the playlist entirely, but that's just my take. Next up is Stadium, which comes in at the 14th spot. This map was originally a part of the Invitational event, but Ubisoft felt it would be a good fit for Ranked. When this map was first added into Ranked, I actually really enjoyed it, but the more I've played it, the more my opinion has changed. It's disappointing because this map is so close to being a fun Ranked map. If you don't know, this map is Border and Coastline combined right down the middle. While Border and Coastline are solid Ranked maps, I have a couple problems with Stadium. My first being the bulletproof windows. These things provide attackers with free intel. They can set up drones outside of them, and there is nothing you can really do about it if you're a defender. You can't shoot the drone, so your only real option is to block them off with the zombie's Kibas. But if you don't have a zombie, then you literally can't do anything about it. My other problem with this map is metal flooring. It makes every movement extremely loud for the opposition. Obviously, this can play into your favor, but loud doesn't mean better. I've had a ton of sound related issues on this map. It feels like sound bounces easier on this map, especially vertically. Sometimes people below me will sound like they're right on the same floor as me, and I've had other similar issues. I don't know if this is just a problem I've been experiencing, but it can be really annoying. My only real explanation behind this is the flooring, because nothing else really makes sense. I just wish the map had normal flooring because it would offer more verticality potential, and it would also remove the issue of your movements being super loud. Now for the number 13th spot, which belongs to no other than Skyscraper. This map is another attacking nightmare. A lot of bomb sites on this map are easy to hold, like tea room, office, and kitchen, which are all great examples. Also, the balconies force you into being pinched into a tight area, making spawn peeks and runouts easier than ever. As a result, pretty much every outside wall is difficult to utilize as an attacker because it will just open you up to even more angles. Other than that though, I don't really have any issues with this map. I don't hate Skyscraper. It can still be fun at times, especially on defense, but I just don't think it's one of the better maps. Coming in at the 12th spot is Border. My biggest issue with Border is that it plays out the same in every round. Every bomb site only has one or two potential ways to attack them, and it can get very repetitive. Because of this, Border has gotten really boring for me. One thing about Border that is different is that it is one of the only attacker-sided maps in the game. The best bomb sites are arguably armory lockers or vents, but both are still relatively easy to attack, which is normally unheard of on majority of maps. Now, don't take this the wrong way. Border isn't a bad map by any means. I would just rather play the other maps above it on this list because at least they provide some sort of variety in their gameplay. Next up on my list is Consulate, which I know will be a controversial one. I think Consulate gets a lot of hate that it doesn't deserve. It's a very repel-oriented map. You have to be good at repelling on attack to perform well on this map. Attacking Consulate also has a huge dependence on vertical play, and very few maps are reliant on these two mechanics to this degree. This map can be a difficult one to defend because of all the windows, and it is attacker-sided, but I love how differently it plays from all the other maps in the pool. The only other map that I can think of that plays similarly to Consulate is Cafe, which we'll get into later. This map is a classic and I will always stand by it, but I do think a rework would be a good thing. It could help resolve how bad this map feels on the defensive side. Coming in at the number 10 spot is Theme Park. I think this is going to be another very controversial placement, but just hear me out. I used to hate Theme Park, but when they introduced EMPs, I thought it would make the map more fun, and I was right. Thatcher not being banned as often and EMP impacts being on a lot of meta operators helps Throne to be a much easier bomb site to attack. In just the games I have played since the EMP's introduction, it seems that Theme has become a lot more balanced. It doesn't feel nearly as defender-sided as it did before. I urge you to give this map another try. Its main issue was how defender-sided it was, but now that it is easier to breach reinforced walls than ever before, this map is much more fun. Next up at our number 9 spot is Canal. Canal is another fairly defender-sided map, but I don't know what it is about this one, but I really enjoy when I get to play it. I'd say my biggest issue with this map is the amount of potential spawn peeks and runouts that can get pretty annoying. Also, there's only 2 viable bomb sites on this map, so after you win 2 of them, you're basically screwed and you won't be winning a 3rd round. But otherwise, I don't really have anything to complain about. It's really fun for me, and I can't really explain why. Now for my 8th spot, which is Nighthaven Labs. This is the map that has been introduced with Operation Solar Raid. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to play this map that much, especially in Ranked. I don't know why, but my RNG has just not been great. but from what I've played of the map so far, I'm having a blast. It is one of the biggest maps ever added into ranked. Surprisingly, considering its size, I haven't noticed any side advantage. This map doesn't appear to be extremely attacker or defender sided. I do enjoy defending labs a little more than attacking though. I think my favorite bomb sites right now are server and kitchen. I think both of these sites will end up being the meta ones, at least from what I've played thus far. Server is right next to warehouse catwalk, which is a really strong power position, and cafeteria is a pretty difficult site to attack due to its location being in a corner of the map, and it has very little breachable walls. Next up on my list is cafe in the number 7 spot. Cafe has always been a favorite of mine. It offers that heavy verticality playstyle I love so much on consulate, but with more polish. Reading room is a blast to both defend and attack, along with kitchen and service. Both of these bomb sites are a ton of fun. They provide multiple ways of attacking them, they have a lot of vertical play, and they are relatively balanced. Obviously, Cafe is defender-sided, but not nearly to the degree of previous maps mentioned in this video like Canal. I've always found Cafe to be a blast, and it's still one of the GOATs in my eyes. Now to discuss my number 6, which is Oregon. A couple of seasons ago, you would have seen me put Oregon in the top 3, but right now I think it's incredibly overplayed. Every time it is in the map pool, I feel like I end up on it. Don't get me wrong, the map is really good and I enjoy it, but it has a similar issue to Border, which is that every bomb site plays out the same. There isn't really much variety in both the defender setups and the attacker lineups, which aids in the map getting very repetitive. Don't get me wrong, this map is an objectively good map, and I'm not saying that it isn't, but it just has gotten old to me recently. To begin our top 5, I will be giving the number 5 spot to Bank. Bank is a personal love of mine. Over the past couple of seasons, and especially since its rework, I have been enjoying it a lot more. I used to be a Bank hater. I don't know what it is, but recently, every match I play on this map has been a nail biter, and it's super fun. Also, Bank matches in the ban phase completely mix things up. I see Habana bans, Montaigne bans, and even Nook bans a decent amount on this map. This helps to add some variety to the map that others don't have. Bank is objectively defender-sided, and I understand that, but there is something about this map that I just gravitate towards that I can't really explain. Next up at my number 4 spot is Clubhouse. Clubhouse is one of those maps where you either love it or you hate it, and for me right now, I'm loving it. This map is one of the few maps that has a very high reliance on hard breachers. You need at least 2 of them in any given round. Now, this can feel restricting to a lot of players, and I completely understand that. A lot of players don't like Clubhouse for this reason, but I do think with the introduction of EMP impacts and the secondary hard breach, this alleviates some of that problem. Now, if Thatcher gets banned, you can still breach walls with ease, and if they go to the church bomb site, you don't need to bring a second hard breacher. You can just bring an operator with secondary hard breach and Habana. They provide you with plenty of utility to get all the hatches and dirt. Besides, for me, since this is one of the only maps that does it, I'm totally fine with a hard breach heavy playstyle. It gives this map a playstyle that no other map really has, and I admire that. Now to move on to the number 3 spot, that being Villa. Villa is another map that has fallen off for me. It used to be my favorite map in the game by a long shot, but it is just so overplayed. Just like Oregon, Villa, if it shows up in the map pool, will never be banned, and so you will likely end up on that map if the time comes. This map is still really good, don't get me wrong. I think it is one of the most balanced maps in the game, and it doesn't have the issues that Oregon does, like the bomb sites playing out the same, or the same operators getting banned. But when you play a map as much as I have played Villa, it gets to be a little stale. Next up is Coastline in my number 2 spot. The reason why I love this map so much is because of how freeing it is. This map is the total opposite of Clubhouse. You can run pretty much any operator you want on this map. Anything from non-meta ops like Warden and Nook, or meta operators like Capitao and Wamai are all okay in your lineup here. This can feel pretty freeing after being stuck on Thermite for the past 5 games because no one else wants to play him. Also, this map's bomb sites provide the ultimate amount of variety for attacking. Penthouse requires some hard breaching, Kitchen requires vertical play, and Hookah requires repel work. All of this adds up to make a map that is very fun and has a ton of variety. Now for the long-awaited number 1 spot, which is going to Chalet. I think Chalet is one of the most competitively sound maps Ubisoft has ever put out. Each bomb site is viable, but none of them are too defender-sided. Also, each bomb site has multiple ways to go about your attack, and the map allows for some real variety in your lineup. The only bomb site on this map that forces anything into your lineup is Garage because of the quantity of reinforced walls that you must breach, but it is the worst bomb site on Chalet. Every time I play this map, I feel like I'm on an even playing field, no matter the side I'm on. And the variety that is present in this map's bomb sites is only rivaled by Coastline. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. I'm trying to hit 3K subs by the end of the year, and we are getting really close to that. But if I haven't earned your sub yet, that is totally fine. You can go and watch this video where I tier list all of the operators in the game, and hopefully it will change your mind. I'll see you next time, friends, and peace.